Posted by u/flat@471. So, I, 25F, am currently being pushed back and forth with my choice, and I thought the lovely people of Reddit might be able to rein me in. I am currently 13 weeks pregnant, and my friends around me have all been very happy and excited for me. However, my childhood friend, 25F, let's call her Lisa, has stonewalled me since I announced it at 8 weeks. I had assumed it was wedding stress, but now I'm second-guessing this. Over the weekend, I was scrolling through Instagram and came across a post where she had thanked everyone for coming to her bachelorette party. There were photos of the girls and her smiling in the middle, and I sort of sat there, shocked. At first, I tried to be mature and just let it go, but this was a girl I grew up with. She was a bridesmaid in my wedding party, and I'm an honorary bridesmaid for hers. She's not having a wedding party. In the end, I guess hormones took over, and I ended up reaching out to her. At first, I said, "Oh, looks like fun," and she replied that it was. After a tub of ice cream and a good sob, I reached out again and said, "Hey, sorry to be this person, but why wasn't I invited?" She immediately messaged me back with this response: "To be honest, the whole day was centered around drinking, wineries and heading to town after, and I'm not sure you would have enjoyed being around all of us drunk, especially because you're pregnant right now. I get that an invite would have been nice regardless, but in all honesty, I just wanted to keep it very small. I'm really sorry you feel that way, but I don't want to make this a big thing because I've already had a crap week." I tried to respond with, "Hey, thanks for getting back to me, but I'm still upset because the day is about you, and I wanted to be there to celebrate you." She then called me and asked me not to make this a big thing once again. She sounded incredibly annoyed, and like the doormat I am, I dropped it. After thinking it over for the past few days, I'm feeling very hurt and heartbroken. This was a girl I grew up with, loved, and supported through a lot of things. I've helped her plan and prepare a lot of her wedding, so to suddenly get iced out like this makes me feel a certain way. My husband suggests we don't go, and I'm on the edge. So, Reddit, would I be the jerk if I declined going to her wedding and distanced myself? Update 17 hours later. Hi, hope this is allowed, but you were also wonderful and helpful, and it turns out I got an update sooner than I expected. So, I haven't heard from Lisa, as I expected. What I didn't expect was for a friend of Lisa's to get in touch with me. Let's call her Sarah. I knew of Sarah and had spoken to her a few times at events we attended together. She was one of the girls who went wedding dress shopping with me for Lisa. I had also noticed that she was a friend who didn't attend the bachelorette, which was a surprise. Anyway, at first she started with a "Hey, how are you?" and we exchanged polite small talk until she finally said, "So, are you as pissed off and mad as I am at Lisa?" Immediately, I was slightly shocked because the few times I had met Sarah, she seemed, well, very demure. That opened the floodgates of information, and she told me everything she knows. What I didn't mention in the post is that I actually waited 2 days before messaging Lisa about the lack of an invite. It turns out that 3 of Lisa's other friends who also weren't invited had hit her up immediately after she posted on Instagram, asking why they weren't invited. It turns out these girls absolutely chewed Lisa out, and my confrontational message was quite soft by comparison. Finally, it was revealed what actually happened, and now I'm even more confused. Lisa admitted to Sarah that her sister-in-law had planned the bachelorette and decided only to invite the friends she knew. So, Lisa's usual group of 8 to 10 friends, including me, got narrowed down to 4, and Lisa decided not to correct her sister-in-law and just went with it, not realizing how many people she would upset by not inviting them. Apparently, once people started attacking her, Lisa basically buried her head in the sand and started making up lies to everyone about why they weren't invited, using the same excuse of "don't make this a big deal" until everyone realized the reasons were bullcrap and called her out. That's when the real truth came out. Sarah informed me that the girls who weren't invited have all pulled out of the wedding, their partners included, because they got the same annoyed response from Lisa before she finally told the truth. They all felt they didn't deserve that. Then, Sarah asked me what Lisa had told me, and I went deathly quiet on the phone before finally admitting she used my pregnancy as an excuse. Poor Sarah then launched into another rant about how Lisa could say that to me, especially when I'm pregnant. Anyway, we ended the call, and she suggested we get coffee sometime, so I think I've made a friend? So, that's the update. This pregnant lady is very confused and is currently the #1 buyer of ice cream at my local dairy, lol. Second update 6 days later. Guys, I want off this train. So, minor and small update, as mentioned in my previous post, Lisa and I are childhood friends, and our mothers are friends. I finally shared what had happened with my mum. At first, she was so upset for me but also gave me an "I told you so" up. "You are too much of a doormat. Thanks, Mum." But then she said I have a big heart, and sometimes people tend to use and abuse it. Once again, thanks, Mum. Anyway, Mum then gave me more tea, more gossip. Apparently, while Lisa has been telling people that she's paying for her wedding out of her own pocket, it turns out that's a big fat lie. Lisa's mother had been sending her money, and from what my mother told me, it was a decent chunk of change. How do we know this? Well, Lisa's mom went to my mom upset because, one thing I forgot to mention, Lisa's mom wasn't invited to the bachelorette party. Context for people outside New Zealand, we don't have bridal parties, so usually what people do is invite the older generation to dinner, and then the younger girls go out and party if there's a big night planned. If it's a more relaxed bachelorette, then mom will be there the whole time, like at mine. So, Lisa's mother was distraught because she had been sending Lisa a decent amount of cash, had been told she wasn't allowed to give her opinion about anything related to the wedding, and then wasn't invited to the bachelorette. And Lisa's mother is honestly a nice lady, so hearing that kind of broke my heart. If I had known Lisa's mother was sending money, I would have told Lisa to pull her head in. My mom then had to break the news about why I wasn't invited to the bachelorette, and Lisa's poor mother was mortified. So, that's the update. Is it even an update? I don't know. I'm just very sad at this point because I don't know where my friend has gone. Is she still there? Is this just a bridezilla moment? I don't know. On a lighter note, about my ice cream journey, I've read everyone's comments about loving this pregnancy lady's cravings, so allow me to indulge. Recently, I tried Ben & Jerry's banoffee flavor, and it was very good. I do wish the caramel swirl was mixed throughout all the ice cream, but beggars can't be choosers. And I had the most amazing strawberry sorbet the other day. Honestly, it was so good I almost asked the ice cream shop for a tub of it, but I had self-control. Third update 1 month later. Just want to give a big thanks to everyone on Reddit for coming along on this wild journey with me. You have all helped me not go insane this past month. On to the update, so I attended the wedding. I know, you can all boo me in the comments, but I was leaning towards not going until I spoke to my mom, who ultimately told me this would be a nice way of closing our chapter of friendship. I could walk away with my head held high. Later, she told me that Lisa's mom had also begged her to convince me to attend. I attended with my husband, and I immediately noticed the vibe and aura were completely off. People of Reddit who are married will understand me, weddings feel like love. This didn't. This was technically an Instagram picture-perfect wedding, but it could have been anyone's wedding. It didn't feel personal. My friend barely smiled unless it was for photos, her vows were robotic, and the maid of honor was useless. That was my biggest pet peeve. It is not that hard to notice that the bride's dress needs fluffing or that she needs a drink. Even I'll admit, I felt no joy watching the speeches and how everyone spoke about the groom and then threw something in for the bride at the last second. The bride acted like we were good, like there was no beef, like the bachelorette thing never happened. I felt strange, I didn't like it because I know her, and she isn't able to hide her emotions. She wears her emotions on her sleeve, so I think she genuinely believes nothing is wrong between us. She pulled me aside and said how she loved and appreciated me, how she was excited to be an honorary auntie, and she kept touching my belly and blowing kisses at it. I left the wedding feeling a lot of emotions. I know I'm hormonal right now, and I feel everything, but I don't know. But I can sit here and admit the friendship is done. I don't think I can look at her the same after everything I learned from talking to my mother and with how I was treated. The chapter is closed, and other than the bridesmaid thing, I can look back somewhat fondly on our childhood and time together, planning our marriages out with our brat dolls. I've never been good with friendship breakups, but this time I think I am. I think I'll be okay. Thank you all for listening to the rambles of this pregnant lady, who has also enjoyed all your ice cream recommendations. You have all expanded my horizons, and I'm sure the little one in my stomach appreciates it too. Signing off with love, up.